690 Studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. Be a part of the show by calling 915-544-KTSM, 915-544-5876, or comment online on our stream at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. It's 4 p.m. Mountain Time, and that means it's time to talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thanks for tuning in, however you may be doing so, be it on air, online, live streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the various social media pages we're on these days, including facebook.com/Talk El Paso, at Talk El Paso on Twitter, the Talk El Paso channel on YouTube, and at Andrew J. Polk on Twitch. Because, well, getting it out there in a lot of different ways is a good way to be these days, isn't it? And just out there and able to have that conversation, as we have Leroy Chuck joining us over on the Facebook page. But however you're tuning in, this is that very special time of the day, my favorite time of the day, and also one of the better times of the week, because it is Friday, and we will be taking those calls throughout the hour. So that means that we'll take on any subject, still have those FCC, particularly if you're calling in to do that. FCC is a concern we have, so just keep it clean, but we'll take on any subject, our pressure release valve for the week. So that number to call, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. And just elephant in the room time, very aware, have been watching it myself all day, the very much what's going on in Kenosha and the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. This is the time of week when we talk about all these other subjects, so we've already gotten some pound 250 calls and comments like John Brazelton saying free Kyle, and then Leroy Chuck saying a little bit more what's on my mind, actually, that all eyes on Kenosha right now, wondering what's going to happen now, but we'll get into that and a whole lot more. One thing I wanted to bring up from the local aspect before we jump into more of the comments and calls here today is a little bit more information coming out about that whole UTEP situation and school district situation yesterday, both in terms of what actually may or may not more specifically have happened, and some of the student response here, specifically from our news partners over at KFOX 14, them saying that this was a false 911 call that led to all of this. Now, this was not something required by the police department, but that they passed the information along, that they got the call, again, that a unknown male called 911 making threats of harming himself, and that he was driving near UTEP, and so a serious abundance of caution situations it's sounding like out there, and that this was then shared by nearby school districts who made their own subsequent decisions. So very much a better safe than sorry kind of situation. I can understand that, but again, it kind of goes into a larger conversation I'm interested in having about what the heck is going on with all this stuff here lately. As we also have Calvin Williams joining us over on the social media pages. Good afternoon to you as well. So let's jump right into those calls. Again, that number to do so, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Right now, we do have Ben on the east side here with us. Ben, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Andrew. I hope people don't take this the wrong way, but I'm really concerned about what people know about what's going on. Mm-hmm. If you're listening to what I'm saying and you don't you don't understand these terms or where they're come from, you need to look it up, please. World Economic Forum, Davos, First Movers, Build Back Better. Where does that come from? Where does the Build Back Better term come from? COP26, ESG scores. Do you know what Bill Gates said at the World Economic Forum about how we're all going to be affected one way or another? Do you know anything about what John Kerry and what President Biden has gotten us into? Do you have any idea of what the world leaders, the people that are going to shape, through this Build Back Better world that they're talking about, is going to affect every one of us? We have to become informed, and we have to be. You have to learn about these things. If you don't, if these terms are completely new to you, please look them up. They are something that's very important. And you guys are the ones that are because you're listening to this program, everybody is supposedly supposed to be informed. But if you don't know these things, you don't know what's going on in the world.
I mean, those are all very important concepts and subjects and things both happening now and coming up. I'll agree with you on that point there. Something that we're working on more specifically is kind of in response to some of these things, particularly COP26, after the aftermath of whatever may or may not be happening after that. We're going to be talking in the coming weeks here with some other perspectives on both respect to the concept and what may or may not need to be done in the concept of climate change, but other perspectives on it. We're working on some things on that, I will say. But I mean, yeah, staying informed. If this is your introduction to it, congratulations for at least starting to it. But there's a lot more going on out there, and we can only do so much on each show. So thanks for bringing up those points. Do appreciate it. All right, well, thank you. All right, got more calls in the line here again. That number to call, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. So we also have John Brazelton commenting on that. They're saying the House's Build Back Better legislation provides amnesty for 9 million illegals. Not sure if it's amnesty. Well, I guess that's an argument to be made there. At the very least, as we heard from El Paso's Congresswoman Veronica Escobar yesterday during her time speaking in front of the Capitol in that news conference alongside San Antonio Congressman Joaquin Castro, talking about a path to citizenship, work permits, and things like that. So I guess there's an argument to be had, but we can certainly get into that as well as Louis Panado with his perspective on assuming this thing was happening out there in Kenosha. And again, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, saying himself that today's a great day for the Second Amendment and the rule of law, finally. I'm not going to say that I disagree with the outcome of this case, but just putting myself in that situation and thinking about being there, there's a whole lot of different choices I would have made from A to B involving that. And all I can say is that for people who are very much celebrating, happy about it, do you, but just as a reminder, particularly in these cases, appeals are a thing, and it's just been a day. So stay on top of this. I don't think it's over in any case here. So got at least one more call on the line here right now before we hit that next break here. Again, the number to call, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. You're live with Talk El Paso. Who's this?
Hi, this is Joe on the west side.
Hey there, Joe. What's on your mind?
I wanted to talk to you about the Kyle Rittenhouse.
Oh, sure.
First of all, I wanted to say something. This country was built by visionaries, explorers, risk takers, inventors, builders, hardworking people. And, one of the things that these people invented that, everybody uses is electricity. And electricity helped build telephones, the computers, televisions, and it helped in manufacturing. It even helped in sports like basketball, football, and baseball. Now, these guys invented this. These were white people. They were risk takers. They even went into exploration and space travel. And they're the first ones to volunteer before this to defend the country, rescue Americans from war-torn areas, and from natural disasters. This kid, Kyle Rittenhouse, is one of those people. He was there to defend what was happening to businesses and other people that were there. They were victimized by these rioters. So now, Kyle Rittenhouse is really an American hero. And we have to respect that. And the other thing is that I went to a gun show here in town, and guess what? They didn't have any guns. You go to the gun shops around town, they don't have any guns. They hardly have any guns.
Oh, I see what you mean there, yeah.
So, everybody is, getting worried about this whole situation where white people are attacked because they're white. When white people did all these things, now they're the bad guys. Or they're the bad people. So, I'm a Mexican American, and I guess I'm white, but one of the things is that we have to live in this world that was created by white people. I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, there are some people that are screw-ups, like Joe Biden, the Biden family. I mean, those are a bunch of screw-up people. So, I mean, let's get this thing together, people. Let's, be brothers, not enemies. Okay, that's what I had to say. Thanks.
Oh, sure thing. Thank you for those points there. I mean, those are interesting ones. I mean, I don't want to discount the contributions other people of all kinds have made to this country, but I will say that racism of any stripe, whether it be of any particular group or another, reverse racism isn't a thing. Saying that, well, no, just giving it back to you, so therefore it's justified. No, there's just racism. And so saying that any group is bad because of their inherent possibilities is incorrect in just its basics there. Anyway, a lot of stuff coming up out of this here, but we got to take that break right now. So coming back after the break, we'll get into more of these comments and calls here. We're doing that throughout the hour here today. So back after this break with more Talk El Paso, running here on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk. A lot of stuff we're talking about here today, taking those calls throughout the hour. That number to call, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Back after this break with more Talk El Paso here on News Radio. Dealing with any kind of subject, you want to make sure you have a good, clear, and concise head about it, even whether it's just going about your day, dealing with the issues that we do here on this program, or just even getting ready for the weekend. So something to deal with all of that and help me out. Something I reach for, particularly around this time of day, is Clever Tea, Klevrtea, as in the stuff that you drink, because it has a lot of benefits, tastes good, is also locally produced, so it hits on a lot of levels for me. And very much in particular, they're out in the community, and you can try it for yourself and buy it for yourself here this weekend. They'll be out from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. out at Winterfest. Then at Sunday, they'll be at the Upper Valley Arts and Farmers Market. And then on Sunday, so Upper Valley Arts and Farmers Market from 11 to 3. And then later in the afternoon, they'll be at the Cielo Vista Market on Sunday as well. So all of this happening here, coming into town, and you can find them online at clevertea.com. That's KLEVRTEA.com. Get your own box or get out in the community. Find all the information at clevertea.com.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
Look out for an accident that still has the right lane closed on the Loop 375 northbound at Edgemere Boulevard. Also, there's another accident on Gateway Boulevard westbound at McRae. And there's a collision that has the left shoulder closed on the 10 westbound at Schuster Avenue. Also, watch out for some slow-moving traffic on Zaragoza northbound between Harris and Vista del Sol. I'm Marie Jourdain with El Paso Traffic.
This report is sponsored by SmartMouth, the only 24-hour mouthwash with twice daily use. Opening back up. You check the news, you check with your friends, you check your mask. But wait, did you check your breath? Get SmartMouth, the only mouthwash that provides 24 hours of fresh breath with just 2 rinses a day. Find SmartMouth in the mouthwash aisle at Dollar General or get 20% off at smartmouth.com/radio.
I love the holidays, but I don't love being roommates with my siblings again. That's why I skip all the screaming matches and stay at Red Roof, so I can truly celebrate and relax in my own comfortable, clean, affordable room. Pets stay free at Red Roof, so I can bring Fido and decompress after a long day of small talk with family without breaking the bank. And this season, you can get up to 20% off. Book your own space at redroof.com.
Hello, everybody. It's Al Roker from The Today Show. I'm really excited to tell you about my new project, Cooking Up a Storm. We're whipping up a complete Thanksgiving feast with the help of some of my friends like Ina Gart, Marcus Samuelson, and more. Grab your apron as they spill the beans on family secrets to get you ready for the holidays. Search and listen to Cooking Up a Storm now wherever you get your podcast, or watch Wednesdays and Fridays on Today all-day streaming on today.com.
It's open enrollment season, and when it comes to you and your family's health, you want the best care at the best price. That's where Altrua Health Share comes in. You'll have access to top quality medical providers and facilities, all within your budget. This open enrollment season, learn more about Altrua Health Share and its community of other like-minded, health-conscious individuals. Ready to find out more? Dial pound 250 on your cell phone and say My Share to learn more. That's pound 250 and then say the words my share.
There won't be much substance on your news feed until you add us. Just like us or click on the link at ktsmradio.com.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
News Radio 690 KTSM.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so. A lot of ways to interact with the show, including the Facebook page, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Talk El Paso on most of those, or Andrew J. Polk. Look those up, and you will find us as we are having this discussion here in the Borderland area, as we think we deserve. So, some of the things we're talking about here today include whatever the hell happened with UTEP and the school district around here. Plus, yes, very much a lot of input and discussion about the Rittenhouse trial. One comment that pointed out and misspoke. Not appeals possible in this case, but other trials, civil trials are possible. There was a little bit of confusion that, just to lay it out here, it was found not guilty on all charges, also known as acquittal. There was a dismissal of a previous charge involved in the Rittenhouse case there, but not the ones that were decided here today. Was the illegal or unlawful having of a firearm by an underage person. That was dismissed ahead of all this stuff here today, just to clear up some confusion there. So I did misspeak slightly, but that's how it is at this moment here. So we are taking those calls and comments throughout the day. The number to call, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Taking those calls and comments throughout the hour here. So getting to more of them on the line here. We do have Jerry in Northwest on the line here right now. Jerry, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you, Andrew, for taking my call.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, you said your definition of inflation this week was a simple one. Well, I have one too.
Mm-hmm.
Too much money following too few products.
Mm-hmm.
So with all this new spending they're going to do, you're going to add more money on to those too few products. So you're going to have more inflation. And with the things going in the bill, they're going to try to shut down more or make it harder to produce oil and natural gas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to raise the cost of fuel and gasoline, which is a hidden tax, just like inflation. So it's going to be harder on what they call the common man, the little man,
Mm-hmm.
which the Democrats used to try to support, but they no longer do. Thank you, Andrew.
Well, sure thing. Thank you for those points there. I mean, it's absolutely a concern about the inflation. I mean, it's even seeping out of just like the political discussions we have here. I follow a decent amount of like financial guys on social media, and they're starting to talk about, well, how to look into other bonds because savings doesn't make much sense right now. Like it's affecting, that's just to say, it affects a whole lot of areas and aspects of life beyond even just, how much your paycheck can actually buy and the politics that come with it and all of that kind of fun stuff. We'll also contend that, if there isn't something really focused on and dealt with this, the party in power is going to take it in the shorts in this midterm election. Fun headline from the Washington Post here from a little bit earlier this week here. And you all have opinions about that. But just the headline here, Democrats face a 2022 superstorm. Because there are some predictions showing that even more than the Tea Party wave back in 2010, year out from the election here at this point, but very much getting into it. I'm getting more calls from candidates as we're in the filing period now, wanting to talk from both local and statewide offices here, which we'll certainly get to in due course and due time. But here today, I think that if something isn't worked on, again, current trajectory speaking, that it's going to be a very bad time for national Democrats in probably both chambers, not even going to lie, because buck stops here, whether you believe it or not, is still a very persuasive argument to me about whoever's in charge, doesn't matter what contributed to it. If you're not fixing it, that's probably going to come down on you, at the very least in the common voter's mind. So, I also don't think you have an unreasonable concern about the idea of inflation coming literally from the supply of money. Again, I don't think we're anywhere near like what we have seen in other places like Zimbabwe, or going a little bit further back historically, revolutionary France. That's one of the first instances you find in history of such a monetizing the debt idea. But I don't think it'll necessarily help either. All the aspects that are being talked about lessening inflation. I mean, we've played some of the clips here, had some of the conversations about what the talking points are anyway. I am not entirely convinced that is going to work out in the short term. I'm not a financial advisor. I do not give financial advice. Please don't buy or sell any financial instruments based on what I'm saying. They're my little CYA for the moment here. A couple more comments on the line here as well. Calvin Williams with some interesting analysis of some of the people who were being involved in these issues here in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Leroy Chuck asking about that local issue. Is UTEP a gun-free zone? Yes and no. There are actually some state laws that deal with it, if I'm not mistaken, that I believe open carry is not permitted, but that concealed carry is permitted by law, like required to be permitted by law in certain areas. So that's a part of it there. So a lot of more conversations here. Again, taking those comments and calls throughout the hour. That number to call, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. You're live with Talk El Paso. Who's this?
This is Raul. Hey, Andrew.
Hi there. What's on your mind?
Well, it's very sad that little right-wing punk whose mommy drove him and his AK-47 to Kenosha looking for trouble, and he kills two people and he gets off. It's unbelievable. It's terrible what went on there. What a terrible mother also. Here's a short statement from the parents. They say, "We are heartbroken and angry that Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted in his criminal trial for the murder of our son, Anthony Huber. There was no justice today for Anthony or for Mr. Rittenhouse's other victims. Today's verdict means there is no accountability for the person who murdered our son. It sends an unacceptable message that armed civilians can show up in any town."
Okay, if we're going off a written statement here, we have some pretty clear things we do on that. Also, just right off the bat, I mean, maybe this is more of a me issue, but it was an AR-15 in this case, not an AK-47. I think a lot of people see it as, scary long rifles and therefore same things. But, I mean, words do matter here. But, I mean, to the larger issue, there are a lot of decisions that were made that night that I would not have made myself, be it either going there, doing anything, on, frankly, either side of it, being out in the protests, having covered some here locally. We got nowhere near the level or intensity or activity that were happening in those. And there was some weird situations I did find myself in while live streaming those a couple of summers ago, but at the same time, did not get anywhere near that level. But I mean, the decision to go out and armed in a street there is number one I felt necessary for myself. Openly in I don't want to say enforcement capacity, but in a way where you feel the need to therefore use it. Like, I've just never felt that compunction myself, and hopefully we won't here locally is the only thing I want to say about that. But then also there was a lot of stupidity to be had all around here. I've watched all the videos involved in this. There's a whole lot of content out there from firsthand and even just nearby accounts of direct recordings out there. So with a little bit of searching, it wasn't too hard to get a decent picture for yourself of what actually happened in that case and there. And okay, while I do not agree that all of the actions taken by any party were right, it takes a special kind of stupid to attack someone running away from you with a blunt object when they have a firearm with them. And that's kind of all I'm going to say on that point there. All right, we are due for a break here right now. Coming back after the break, we're going to talk more about these issues and a whole lot more because it is that Friday and we're taking those calls throughout the hour. So that number to call, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Talking a whole lot about all of these issues and a whole lot more. That's what today is. So back after this break with more Talk El Paso. In all of the issues we talk about, it's important to keep your peace of mind and the safety and health of your family in mind. So something that you can do, just back pocket it, back of your mind, ready when you need it, is Upper Valley Urgent Care Center, because they are ready for you 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., no appointment needed, walk-in basis for whatever you have, those day disruptors, those aches, bruises, sprains, breaks, sniffles, the stuff that doesn't let you continue with your day as you want it. Particularly with the holidays coming up, it's real important to make sure that your scheduling and your plans don't get interrupted any more than they have to. So they're ready with you for 20-plus exam rooms, fast and friendly 5-star medical treatment at 121 East Red Road. Everything from minor medical treatment all the way up to x-ray capabilities. They're also a VA authorized urgent care provider. So they're ready to help you, variety of situations, what you need to get back to your day and enjoying these holidays. Upper Valley Urgent Care Center.
El Paso's News Radio, 690 KTSM.
I'm Stephanie Safer with your KFOX 14 News update. 2 people have died and another has been injured after a 3-vehicle crash in Otero County yesterday afternoon. The crash happened near the intersection of White Sands and Panorama Boulevard. According to a medical examiner, 31-year-old Treyon Marquette Johnson and 85-year-old Dolores Schuler from Alamogordo died from the injuries they suffered in the crash. More than 60 pounds of methamphetamine were seized from a vehicle in New Mexico earlier this week. Agents discovered 51 separate packages of methamphetamine that were wrapped in brown plastic and concealed throughout a black Nissan sedan with Mexican license plates at the Alamogordo checkpoint on Highway 70. El Paso's Winterfest is kicking off the holiday season on Saturday after being held virtually in 2020. To kick off the season, the holiday event will feature a special holiday market with over 50 local vendors scheduled from noon to 8 p.m. That will be between the Convention Center and Southwest University Park. I'm Stephanie Safer with your KFOX 14 News update.
News Radio 690. Traffic all day.
Look out for an accident that still has the right lane closed on the Loop 375 northbound at Edgemere Boulevard. Also, there's another accident on Gateway Boulevard westbound at McRae. And there's a collision that has the left shoulder closed on the 10 westbound at Schuster Avenue. Also, watch out for some slow-moving traffic on Zaragoza northbound between Harris and Vista del Sol. I'm Marae Jourdain with El Paso Traffic.
After a couple of unseasonably cool days, we'll start to see a slight warm-up as we head into the first half of the weekend. Tonight, expect a partly cloudy sky along with light winds, and be prepared for another chilly night with temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s. Coming up tonight, we'll talk about a warmer start to the weekend, plus some tracking changes to the weather as we get closer to the Thanksgiving holiday. From the KFOX 14 Severe Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Kira Miner.
This report is sponsored by SmartMouth, the only 24-hour mouthwash with twice daily use. Big interview. You check your suit, your resume, your palms. But wait, did you check your breath? Get SmartMouth, the only mouthwash that provides 24 hours of fresh breath with just 2 rinses a day. Find SmartMouth in the mouthwash aisle at Dollar General or get 20% off at smartmouth.com/radio. Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year. It's amazing because Discover is accepted at 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report limitations apply. This report is sponsored by Discover.
Your 10,000 steps, your 32 miles to work. Gonna be late again. Your 8 glasses of water.
What goes in must come out, right, boss?
Life is filled with many numbers, but just remember one of them. 690 KTSM. Your one place for reliable information you use every day.
The up-to-date information.
It's affecting me on my day-to-day.
7 days a week. Count on one station. El Paso's News Radio. 690 KTSM. El Paso's News Radio. 690 KTSM.
Something else you can do to keep on top of your health, be in control of it, and being educated and advocating for yourself as a consumer of healthcare is by tuning into the Medical Hackers with Dr. Sandeep Rao. He's a board-certified vascular interventionalist, and his show airs every Saturday at noon right here on News Radio 690 KTSM with healthcare hacks to help you navigate our complex medical systems and insights on common medical problems, including this week talking about things that involved with the procedures with bariatric bypass and other kind of weight loss surgeries that you may have heard about. So he talks about that and a whole lot of other issues. Plus, he takes questions ahead of the next show. Well, you can email Rao at medicalhackers.com. That's RAO at medicalhackers.com. Be sure to tune in again this Saturday at noon, right after the El Paso History Radio Show here on News Radio 690 KTSM.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, call 915-544-KTSM or follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thanks for tuning in however you may be doing so, be it on air, online, live streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the various social media pages, including facebook.com/Talk El Paso, the YouTube channel Talk El Paso, at Talk El Paso on Twitter, or Twitch at Andrew J. Polk. Because, well, we're trying to be all the places that we can be. Backup systems go down. Plus, there is no one unified audience anymore. We want to have as many people in to have this discussion about the things that affect us here in the borderland. But as it is Friday, we have opened that up to all subjects, as long as, particularly if you're calling in, you're letting us keep with those FCC guidelines because, well, we want to keep on air anyway. So that number to call, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Taking those throughout the end of the hour. Talk El Paso also brought to you in part by Monterey Asset Management. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, consider investing in real estate. Monterey manages apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. Check out their new website, m1ep.com. That's m1ep.com. To learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate, you can call Certified Property Manager Ray Baca at 915-592-4549. That's 915-592-4549. Thank you to our sponsors. Please support them as they support us on our mission to bring back live local talk radio here to the borderland. A lot of people chiming in today, and a lot of people on a specific set of issues here, but we'll keep taking those calls here. Again, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Calvin Williams, John Brazelton, John Hertz, and Tim Collins, Leroy Chuck, and more tuning in, chiming in, letting us know their thoughts a little bit earlier, but we'll keep taking those comments and calls throughout the hour here. So right now we do have D on the east side on the line here. D, thanks for joining us.
Yes, I'm commenting on the last caller saying that his mom drove him to the riot. I'm just saying my grandfather lied to my great-grandmother when he joined the army to go and fight halfway across the world. For a good cause. I know they make it seem that he was going to fight for a parking lot, but that young man had in his heart to take it upon himself to go and do something for somebody else. And that's what America's about, helping others who are afraid to fight on their own. They stand up and fight for others. And to me, that's what an American is all about, not laws or anything that people try to say that you're not supposed to do. And my good thing, my grandfather came back. He had told my great-grandmother that he had been in trouble, and he went to a famous Catholic high school here in El Paso, and he had been, dishonored from the school.
Okay.
And liked her, and he had to go and register at a boys' camp. But instead, he joined the Army underage.
Wow. That's a fascinating story. Well, thank you to your family there for your service there. I mean, I get the perspectives on this particular incident here. I personally would not go so far as to call him a hero. I do not think that this court case was incorrect here. I think that a lot of unfortunate things happened that day, but I really am mostly thinking at this moment about what the heck is going to be happening in Kenosha this evening. But thank you for those points in that call. I do appreciate it.
Thank you for taking my call, sir.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you very much there. All right, taking more calls throughout the end of the hour here. Do have Tom on the west side here right now. Tom, thanks for joining us.
Well, that previous caller just stole my thunder.
All right.
Kyle Rittenhouse did Kenosha really an honor by trying to defend the town with these so-called protesters, which were people that were rioting. I mean, look at the three people that he ended up having to defend himself from, and look at their backgrounds and what they found out about them. This is what we're dealing with in this country. And you think this guy was an inch away from possibly the wrong verdict and being put away for life. And what's going to happen? Are they going to prosecute all the people that lit the auto dealerships on fire and the buildings on fire? And when are we going to see some justice there, and all the other rioters? And the thing about it is it continually goes on. And we know what side of the political spectrum they support. So, and you have like Hakeem Jeffries, who's a congressperson that is spouting incredibly hard statements about Kyle Rittenhouse. I'll tell you one thing. Some of these media stations better watch out, because what Nicholas Sandman did when he got threatened, he ended up with a pretty hefty lawsuit in his favor. And I think Kyle Rittenhouse ought to do the same and go all the way to the top with it. So thanks for letting me get my comment in. Appreciate it.
Sure thing. Yeah. And that's one of the more interesting bits of speculation going on out there. So if you're not familiar with that name, the other person who was referencing was the Native American drumming kid. I mean, you may have seen that situation where it was I believe the protest was near the Lincoln Memorial in D.C., if I'm not mistaken. And the young man approached him, Native American man who was drumming, and it was a lot of knee-jerk reaction happening out of it. I mean, literally, people were just standing there, and someone was drumming, and people, kind of like this, to be perfectly honest, was one hell of a political litmus test, what it ended up being. And then that young man ended up suing, I believe, the Washington Post and a couple others for hundreds of millions of dollars. So, yeah, that's well, it's being discussed here in this case, particularly now with this outcome of it, but we'll see there. I'm also not a legal advisor in any way, shape, or form, but I digress here. All right, taking more calls in the line here. Again, that number to do so, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. You're live with Talk El Paso. Who's this? You with us?
Oh, this is Alan from the Lower Valley.
Hi there, Al. What's on your mind?
Well, just pretty much those first two, last two callers you had. They were right down spot to where it is. They're just talking about this poor young man doing what he had to do, doing his civic duty. How many of us would really do what we had to do? And they're not talking about the ones that got the people he shot. Yeah, I feel sorry for him. We're going to pray for him and everything. But if they were up to no good and he was fearing for his life, he did what he had to do. That's another thing for that snowflake that called earlier. We got to send you up there to Afghanistan and find your way back to the States again so you can earn your keep to come into this country. Simple as that.
All right. Well, thank you for those points on that call there. Again, I would have made a lot of decisions differently that night had I found myself in that situation, regardless of how I ended up there. I think that probably the correct decision was made there based on the factors of it. I am not sure that the prosecution, let's just say, I think it could have turned out differently had the prosecution had their act together, but having followed the trial and some of the acts of it, it was a little bit of a bungled, at the very least, on their part, with some of even the witnesses, including the guy who got shot in the arm. Don't think that was how they were expecting it to go, but very much, happening here a little bit earlier today. I've been following it all throughout this day, so not surprised that's our major topic for the day. So thank you for the points on that call there. We need to go ahead and take that next break right now, and then coming back, we'll squeeze in more calls that we can on the line. Again, that number to do so, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Back after this break with more Talk El Paso here on News Radio 690 KTSM. It is absolutely always a good time to be having a focus on your own health. More specifically, that of breast cancer. No matter the time of year, it can happen to anyone at any place and any time. So being sure that you keep abreast of, no pun intended, the factors that exist within you. A tool that you have in your arsenal there is with thermography, a new tool, or a tool that is back in town, more accurately, that can help you detect things before even other methods can, going on literally under the surface, while still being non-invasive. So you can claim your $50 off all breast thermogram benefit by calling into 915-401-4053. That's 915-401-4053. Again, thermography, another tool in your toolbox, another weapon in your arsenal to help keep track of your health. You can also find them online at elpasothermography.com. That's El Paso Thermography, THERMOGRAPHY.com.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
Look out for an accident that still has the right lane closed on the Loop 375 northbound at Edgemere Boulevard. Also, there's another accident on Gateway Boulevard westbound at McCrae. And there's a collision that has the left shoulder closed on the 10 westbound at Schuster Avenue. Also, watch out for some slow-moving traffic on Zaragoza northbound between Harris and Vista del Sol. I'm Marie Jourdain with El Paso Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Breakfast Biscuit Sandwich. Just $1. Wendy's knows a better breakfast starts with a better biscuit. That's why you can get a hot and buttery Wendy's breakfast biscuit with bacon or sausage, fresh cracked egg, and cheese for just $1. Get your Wendy's Buck Biscuit Sandwich today. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
You have homeowners insurance for a good reason, because without it, a fire, flood, or burglary could destroy you financially. But there's another major crime your homeowner's policy does not cover. It's called home title fraud. The FBI calls title fraud one of the fastest growing crimes, and it can ruin you financially, which is why you need Home Title Lock. Title fraud happens when a criminal forges your signature on documents stating you sold your home to him. Then he takes out loans against your home and leaves you with the payments. You'll spend a fortune in legal fees trying to prove you did not commit fraud. Home Title Lock puts a barrier around your home's title. The instant they detect anyone, from a cyber thief to a renter to a relative, trying to forge their way onto your home's title, they help shut it down. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim, and enter RADIO for 30 days of free protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
There's no place like home for the holidays, except when you're stuck sleeping on the pull-out couch in the basement. This year, I'm resting my head at Red Roof, in my own comfortable, affordable, and clean space. You know, you can save up to 20% this holiday season at Red Roof locations. Plus, pets stay free at Red Roof, so Fluffy can come along for the holiday fun. This holiday season, book your own space at redroof.com and save up to 20%.
Are you covered by Medicare and Medicaid? Well, El Paso Health Plus is the plan for you. As a local Medicare Advantage plan, we can offer our members more. Call us at 833-742-3125 or EPHmedicare.com. El Paso Health Plus.
Hi, Phil Swift here for the Flex Seal family of products. You know, there's a lot of ways to protect your home. You could dig a moat. You could bubble wrap it. Or you could train a pack of wolves to protect it. But the best way is with the Flex Seal family of products. So when you need to patch, bond, seal, repair, and stop leaks fast, get the Flex Seal family of products. Available at FlexSealProducts.com and fine retailers.
Opening back up. You check the news, you check with your friends, you check your mask. But wait, did you check your breath? Get Smart Mouth, the only mouthwash that provides 24 hours of fresh breath with just 2 rinses a day. Find Smart Mouth in the mouthwash aisle at Dollar General or get 20% off at smartmouth.com/radio.
News Radio 690 KTSM.
If you're wondering about those temperatures and what they have meant for you, I hope you had a fun time last night. I know we had to click over my heater for really the first time this year and pull out a couple of space heaters. But if you are still wondering if you can get your system dealt with, you still have that chance by calling the air conditioning company right now at 915-842-8615. That's 915-842-8615, because they have their expert service techs and installers can help put money back in your pocket by upgrading your system to be the latest and the safest and the most efficient. These are all very important factors with whatever we're dealing with, those inflation issues going on and the fuel prices that may come along with it. You don't want to be left on the hook for an inefficient old system, but also the safety aspects of it. Not one to be understated, because really, if you have a system that's more than a couple decades old, you don't have the latest features to help make sure it works the way it's supposed to while keeping your family safe and warm in equal measure. So you can call them at 915-842-8615 or log on to airconditioningcompanyllc.com. That's airconditioningcompanyllc.com.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, call 915-544-KTSM or follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk. A lot of stuff we're talking about here today. We do have the overriding story of the day, of course, with the Rittenhouse trial coming down with a not guilty on all counts. But we are taking those calls throughout the hour, squeezing what we can this last segment of the day as of any subject of the day. Because that's what we do on Fridays, a free-for-all Friday. So you can call 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. A lot of comments going on here as well. James Radcliffe chiming in there, correcting me, saying that if I said that Sandman approached the Native American guy, it was actually the other way around. So correction taken there if I misspoke. But otherwise, a lot of comments, a lot of people chiming in about that. You can join in, wade in yourself if you want to, with the Skeptic Squad over mainly on the Facebook page, but a lot of other pages we're on too. We also have other comments that can come in through other social media pages as well, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, plus those pound 250 calls, which definitely got a couple of those on this. The way you do that, leave your own comment that way, is by dialing pound 250, saying the keyword Talk El Paso, and leave your own comment like this.
This is Steve from East El Paso. You know, today is a very, very good day. Today, justice was done. Justice was done for Kyle Rittenhouse, the hero of Kenosha. His hero status among good people was cemented today at the expense of the lying and the wicked. Today, justice was done for the domestic terrorist child molesters who got what they deserved. Today, justice was done to the leftist mainstream media and their conformist, slobbering viewers, both here locally and nationally, who together lie, obfuscate, subvert, and cover up as a matter of course. They were humiliated again because they chose to cling to a web of lies about a young hero, and their sour grapes will flow freely like a tsunami for many, many days to come. Today, justice was done for those of us who believe in the right to self-defense and believe in courage in the face of evil. Today, justice all around. Thank you for your time, and let's go, Kyle.
Not quite sure about that last little part there, but again, if you want to leave your own comment, you can do it by so. You can do it, leave your comment at facebook.com/Talk El Paso, or again, that pound 250 keyword Talk El Paso. All right, get to a couple more calls here before the end of the hour. We do have, I believe, up next, Andrew on the west side. Andrew, thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Just to switch tracks a little bit, I don't know if there's been talk about the House passing the Build Back Better budget, but just to point out some things, according to the Congressional Budget Office, this bill adds $367 billion to the deficit. Also, 87,000 IRS agents will be hired if this bill is signed into law. Does not provide any additional personnel for border security. Also, it provides an unfunded mandate for nursing homes, okay, such as having a RN on duty 24 hours and other requirements. As for Kyle Rittenhouse, well, this case was botched by the prosecution from the very beginning. There's also some problem that I saw where there was exculpatory evidence not provided to the defense, as in the where he was indicted by, and it said an assault on an unnamed person. Well, that unnamed person at one time spoke to the prosecutor and wanted to have immunity. How can you have an unnamed person in indictment when you've spoken to him? Anyway, I digress. Have a good evening.
Yeah, sure thing. Thank you for those comments on that call there. I mean, there was also some implications of the whole MSNBC thing involving the best way I can describe it, attempted doxing of the jury. Like was a whole mess going on with a whole lot of different aspects of this trial there. So one of the comments I've seen that I've agreed the most with that is that maybe some attention can now be paid to the Ghislaine Maxwell trial here, but separate issue. Anyway, we do have other calls in line. We do have a Tony on the west side here. Tony, thanks for joining us. Tony, you with us? I think we lost Tony. Well, we do it again every Monday through Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. here. Otherwise, we do have Marco on the west side right now. Marco, thanks for joining us.
How's it going?
Doing all right. What's on your mind?
So I really want to change gears here. My concern, and I've been seeing this, especially I actually watched whatever of the feeds that we could watch of Biden interacting with Xi Jinping.
And yep.
There were many instances where Xi Jinping alluded that he would exert some kind of power to make his stance in the Pacific well known. And my concern, the reason I bring this up is, we have things like Kyle Rittenhouse going on, Black Lives Matter, all this stuff happening. And all of this won't even matter if we have superpowers launching nuclear weapons over an island, a piece of land. And I really become concerned because Biden just rolled over. He didn't say a thing. He didn't push back. He didn't tell Xi Jinping, you know what, don't be threatening us with nuclear weapons. But that's exactly what happened. Russia just had a successful test of hypersonic weapons. China just did theirs. India is about to do their test of a hypersonic weapon. And if you don't think that India would tell Pakistan, hey, you know what, go pound sand over Kashmir, now that we have hypersonic weapons, and this is all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and on top of that, you have this COVID crisis. People really need to just stop and reflect on the good things that they have right now. Because I promise you, in 2 years, you'll look back at 20, 21, 22, and be like, man, those were the good old days. We should really, really, really get right with God and pray for the world, this little blue dot in this solar system. I'll leave you with that.
Well, thank you for that thought there. I mean, I studied international relations to an extent back in college and keep abreast of these things. Yeah, talking about Taiwan, the 9-dash line, iron billing going on in the South China Sea, all of that stuff. I mean, there's at least some analysis that I follow on all of these things. And one phrase that has really stuck with me is that we have entered a decade of great uncertainty. And that is a lens to a certain extent in which I see a lot of things going on these days and make even some personal decisions for myself here. So we'll leave it on there here for this week because we are out of time, but we'll do it again Monday through Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. right here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Keep up to date on the things that affect us here in the borderland and beyond. So thank you everyone who did tune in, call in, comment, participate in the show here today. We'll do it again next week. Then your host, Andrew J. Polk. Stay safe out there. Look twice for motorcycles and down the road. And have a great evening, y'all. See you next week. Time for a Medicare moment with Eric with Advocate Health Advisors. Do you ever encounter veterans who are overinsured?
Yeah, we do. In certain circumstances, we find some veterans, they've purchased a civilian product that duplicates the benefits that they already get through their military benefit, like TRICARE for Life, for example. This can be pricey when we discover it, but it's a quick fix that potentially puts thousands of dollars back in the veteran's pocket.
More info on that and much more. You can call Eric, your local advisor, wherever you're hearing this broadcast, at 1-800-876-0214. That's 1-800-876-0214.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
Look out for an accident that still has the right lane closed on the Loop 375 northbound at Edgemere Boulevard. Also, there's another accident on Gateway Boulevard westbound at McRae. And there's a collision that has the left shoulder closed on the 10 westbound at Schuster Avenue. Also, watch out for some slow-moving traffic on Zaragoza northbound between Harris and Vista del Sol. I'm Marie Jourdain with El Paso Traffic.
The El Paso History Show with Jackson Polk and Melissa Sargent is 10 a.m. this Saturday with an insider look at the Paso del Norte Hotel with concierge David Varela. The El Paso History Show is sponsored by Patrick Tuttle, Coldwell Banker Heritage Real Estate, Pepe's New Mexican Restaurant in Cañutillo, Mission Del Rey South.
Because you never hear this.
Hey, hon, I'm late. Chris, I am so pleased you missed the beginning of our meeting.
Thanks for making